At 20, they told you, you've got your whole life ahead of you. At 30, they said, you should have it all figured out by now. At 40, they whispered, it's too late to start over. But at 46, something shifts. You're no longer interested in pleasing people. You're done chasing approval. You don't crave chaos anymore. You crave peace. This isn't the end. It's not even the middle. This is the beginning of a life where you choose what matters. It's ironic, isn't it? Society calls it a midlife crisis, as if waking up is some kind of tragedy. As if realizing what you don't want is a problem. But maybe, just maybe, it's a gift. Because the real crisis isn't turning 46. The real crisis is going through your life half asleep. Let's talk about what really happens at 46. It's not the end of youth. It's the end of people-pleasing. You begin to unlearn. You unlearn the lies you were fed about success, about beauty, about what makes a woman valuable. At 46, you stop trying to fit in. You realize you were never meant to. You've lived enough to know what's real, and wise enough to know what's worth your time. The power of clarity at 46. I know who I am now. At 46, something powerful happens. You stop apologizing for your clarity. You know what you want. And even more importantly, you know what you don't want. You're no longer afraid to say, no, thank you. That's not for me. I've changed my mind. And that clarity? It doesn't make you cold. It makes you free. You stop wasting energy on the wrong people, the wrong careers, the wrong dreams that were never yours to begin with. You're done pretending that burnout is ambition. You're done confusing chaos with passion. At 46, peace becomes the new success. You don't need the loudest room. You need the one where you can breathe. You finally ask yourself, what do I want now that I'm no longer trying to be what everyone else needs me to be? And you answer with honesty, not filtered, not sugar-coated. You say, I want a life that feels good on the inside, even if it doesn't look impressive on the outside. Because you've learned. Performing is exhausting. And authenticity? That's where joy lives. Relationships after 46. Depth over drama. I want real, not perfect. By 46, your standards shift. You've outgrown the thrill of unpredictability. You no longer confuse intensity with intimacy. You crave connection that's grounded, not dramatic. You stop falling for potential. You start valuing presence. You ask, do they make me feel safe? Or do they make me feel small? You've loved. You've lost. And maybe you've had your heart broken in ways no one saw. But you've also survived. You've stitched yourself back together, piece by beautiful piece. Now you know. You don't need a partner to feel whole. You don't need attention to feel worthy. You don't need to shrink to be chosen. At 46, you stop playing games. If someone wants to leave, you let them. If someone doesn't see your value, you stop trying to convince them. Because you finally get it. Being alone is peaceful. Being with the wrong person is war. And your peace is sacred now. What you want is different. It's deeper. You want conversations, not performances. Truth, not perfection. A hand to hold, not a role to play. Because you've lived enough to know. Love that costs your peace is too expensive. Aging gracefully, reclaiming your body. This body has carried me. At 46, your body is no longer an ornament. It's a home, a history, a map of everything you've lived through. You stop chasing the 25-year-old version of yourself. You begin to honor the present version. The one that wakes up every day and keeps going. You notice the lines on your face not with shame, but with reverence. Each one holds a story. The laugh lines from years of joy, the furrows from worry and resilience, the softness that only wisdom brings. You no longer obsess over what size you wear. You ask instead, how do I feel in this body? Strong, capable, soft, human, and you realize your body doesn't need to look like anyone else's. It just needs to feel like home to you. You move differently now, not to punish yourself, but to care for yourself. You eat to nourish, not restrict. You rest without guilt. You dance because it feels good, not because it burns calories. You've left the war with your body, and in its place, you've chosen peace. Reinventing your life's work. It's not too late. It's right on time. At 46, you realize something revolutionary. You can start over. Your career doesn't define you. Your past choices don't lock you in. Your resume isn't the full story of your potential. You're allowed to pivot, to walk away from what no longer excites you, to say, this chapter is over, and I'm ready for something new. People might say, isn't it too late to change now? But here's the truth. It's never too late to build a life that feels like yours. The version of you at 46 is wiser, more focused, and far more powerful than the younger you ever was. You've failed. You've succeeded. You've learned what matters and what really doesn't. And now, you bring all of that wisdom into whatever comes next. You might start a business, write a book, go back to school, travel, or simply give yourself permission to slow down. Not everything has to be about growth. Sometimes, the boldest thing you can do is rest. At 46, you no longer chase titles. You chase fulfillment. You want your work to mean something. You don't want to climb the ladder. You want to build your own. Radical self-acceptance. I am no longer afraid of myself. At 46, you stop performing. You stop walking into rooms trying to be less loud, less emotional, less ambitious, less you. You've done that before. Shrunk yourself to fit in. Dimmed your light to make others comfortable. Bit your tongue to avoid conflict. But now you speak. Now you shine. Now you take up space unapologetically. You stop asking for permission to exist as you are. You wear what makes you feel good. You say what you really mean. You allow your opinions to be bold. You trust your intuition more than you trust outside noise. You don't need everyone to like you. You only need to like yourself. And that changes everything. There's a freedom in no longer fearing being too much. There's power in reclaiming the parts of you once hid. The rebel, the dreamer, the soft one, the wild one, the one who says no with her whole chest, the one who says yes to herself. You don't wait for approval anymore. You become your own validation. You start celebrating your story, even the messy chapters, because they shape the version of you who refuses to settle now. And that version? She's unstoppable. This is where life begins. The best chapter is still ahead. At 46, life doesn't shrink. It widens. You begin to see just how much time you still have. And more importantly, how much freedom you have in how you use it. This is the decade where you stop surviving and start living. You laugh louder, love deeper, say yes only when you mean it, say no without guilt. You care less about how it looks and more about how it feels. You're no longer living for someday. You're living for today. And here's what they don't tell you. You're just getting started. Your dreams didn't expire. Your worth didn't decrease. Your power didn't vanish. It was waiting for you. Right here in the clarity and courage of 46. You've earned this softness. You've earned this wisdom. You've earned this peace. Now is your time to rise. Not in spite of your age, but because of it. So, if you're 46 or somewhere close, and you've ever wondered, is this all there is? Let this be a reminder. You are not too old. You are not too late. You are just in time. Clapperboard, thank you for watching. If this touched you, share it. Someone out there needs this message too. And if you believe that emotional calm is a strength, help us grow this space by liking, subscribing, and supporting our mission. This isn't the end. It's your second beginning.